Hello everyone, welcome to Ashton Gate. 2-goal Teemu Pukki down there. Doing a few more interviews. I'm sure you'd have all seen what has happened today. Definitely a throwback to a couple of years ago, which having banned myself from talking about it about 2 weeks ago is not particularly well timed, but it was, I have to say, lovely to see the way Norwich made those goals in the first half. Certainly between Marco Stiepermann and the man down there, who when we were speaking to him, he was saying it's been a tough start for him, and I think probably, Teemu's a great guy. He's quite a quiet guy. He knows where he's at. He's quite humble. There's probably a lot he's had to work through in terms of what it means to pursue the Premier League and then kind of drop out so dramatically and have a lot of what you've done be questioned. It's a lot that Teemu's probably had to work through as a person, never mind as a footballer. So in that context, to see him broadly and beaming and smiling as he comes and speaks to us for a post-match interview for the first time in a very long time, having scored a brace, is just brilliant. As was this today, where Norwich have won 3-1. All the goals came in the first half. They shouldn't have done, because Bristol City missed a penalty in the second, where they Naki Wells dinked it over the bar. One of the worst penalties I've ever seen live, it has to be said. But whether it would have altered the dynamic of the game is an interesting question, because in both halves, Norwich, I thought, were outstanding in the first sort of 10-15 minutes of the half. Kind of then, whether it was through effort, they're playing a lot of games at the moment, so to sustain the level, mentally and physically, is probably asking a lot. So you can understand the drop off. And in those sort of middle periods of both halves, Bristol City played well, created a sort of awkward moments for Norwich, and then Norwich came good later on in both halves as well. Which the mathematicians amongst you will probably mean and work out Norwich did own most of the game, and I have to say they always really looked like they had more gears in the tank. Whether Bristol City really are promotion contenders this season, I think that's got to play out. They've had quite a few injuries to deal with. I don't know whether they're going to sustain it, and they've got some really good players, but they looked a good few levels short of what Norwich had in their locker today, wherever that locker is. And that is a huge encouragement, because Norwich are definitely finding their feet. They, for all the want of people to criticise their defending, they are defending most situations pretty well. And at Championship level, they will create more chances than they will concede. That's what it looks like at the moment. So if they can improve that situation, and obviously then stay fit and manage the fitness of the players, then really the sky is the limit for them this season. And I have to say, this is probably one of the days. There was elements of it at Brentford. I thought seeing Norwich raise their level to a new high against Brentford had me really encouraged, because I thought, okay, you're adapting to who you're playing against, and I thought they were a little bit unfortunate actually in spells. And today, there were moments in the game where they were second best, but when they were on top of it, they were pressing so well. They were doing it in the right places, in the right ways, especially in the first half. And then, towards the end of the game, when Bristol City are clearly chasing it, Norwich probably could have ended up with 5, to be honest. Clearly, Seamus Pochettino has got to work on his end product, but there's a lot of promise in what he's doing. When that clicks, I don't know, it might take a while, but he's certainly a really good outlet for them. Jacob Sorensen's assist for Teemu Pukki's second goal was outstanding. He was a little bit unlucky to concede the penalty in the second half, although I haven't seen it back. I didn't think the officials were particularly great at controlling the game today, to be honest. I think Norwich ended up winning the booking count by a significant margin. I thought Lucas Rupp and Ollie Skip were superb for a lot of it. There was just a couple of moments from Ollie Skip in the second half where he just got dragged a bit out of position or made a wrong decision. And Lucas Rupp looked slightly tired as the game wore on, but put a huge amount of work in. So really, I can only say that because of the effort and the level he's playing at the moment. He's becoming quite an important part of this team in terms of the dynamic of the shifts of the direction of attacking. And yeah, I thought everything else sort of worked out pretty well. And the one person I probably haven't mentioned who I should do is, elements certainly from Marco Stiepermann, of seeing him. I thought some of his decision making, again, having not played regularly, you could see that he got a bit tired, but he's great, Marco, in that he's quite a sort of on the edge player. You know, he will cause issues by losing possession every so often, but also he creates magic moments, and the first goal was one of those for sure. And he's such an important player to have amongst the group in terms of an option, and an option that you can play regularly. Tim Krul it was a bit. So Norwich went 2 up and conceded a goal really quickly, as you'll have seen, which was a real shame because they were just in such a dominant position, and there was nothing really being offered from Bristol City in terms of encouragement. They got the goal back from Jack Hunt, and it just gave them real life. So that did alter the dynamic, and maybe Tim Krul could have put it somewhere else. But I have to say, he then made a fantastic save in the first half from a header. He tipped a Chris Martin drive onto the post in the second half. Really big moments. He clearly got into Nuckwell's head for the penalty. Tim Krul is as important as any player, outfield player at the moment. He is just, and you can see it as well from some of the videos that Norwich are shooting from behind the scenes. He's just a really huge presence in this Norwich starting 11, whoever's on the pitch. Tim Krul is delivering. Read my Tim Krul interview from early last week, only a few days ago. The one player I haven't mentioned is Emi Buendia. I think today was his second goal in 47 games, but it might be 48. That's not many. He should have had more. The goal is just the most beautiful piece of football. He created another wonderful chance in the second half. He is working really hard. He is starting to win the ball high up like we saw 2 years ago. I don't know if he's happy. I think Norwich won and he's playing football, so I think he is happy. He got a bit of occasional rough treatment. Bristol City got away with 1 or 2 things maybe, but I just want to see that from Emi. It's just a wonderful goal from a wonderful player who has so much to offer this team when it's playing well, and championship teams are not going to want to play against him. They're probably going to want to rile him. The better Emi gets, the more tempted they'll be to start winding him up to get him out of the game as quickly as possible. And so Emi does have to be aware of that. We have to see a more mature Emi Buendia this season. But what a player Norwich have got on their hands, as we all know, if he really does find his focus. Probably just in time for January, but we'll worry about that when we get to that and get to crossing that bridge. At this rate, Norwich will be in a very good position in the Championship table, but they've just got to keep it going. They've got 2 really difficult games coming up at Carrow Road now. Millwall and Swansea look pretty handy this year, although they haven't played yet. I don't know how they're going to do today. I know Steve Cooper, the Swansea manager, knows Stuart Webber very well. And obviously Millwall are as awkward as you'd imagine. So Millwall on Tuesday, Swansea on Saturday. Hopefully this is all going ahead, because we've got Boris Johnson deciding to open his mouth in a bit, so can't wait to hear what he has to say about that. We'll see how it all plays out, because there's going to be some big question marks for the EFL clubs, given they're not regularly testing for COVID and all sorts. So lots of question marks. I'm sure we'll get all the answers later. But let's not worry about that now. Let's worry about Norwich getting another 3 points. So now unbeaten in 4 wins from their last 5 games. And they're looking pretty decent at both ends of the pitch, I think, which I know some of you won't agree with, but that's how I see it. Loads of stuff coming up over at The Athletic, as always. I've got an interview for you this week, a couple of analysis pieces too. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, look after each other, and all those around you. Subscribe to my pages wherever you're watching this. Post a comment, tell me your feelings. I will, of course, read them all and reply where is necessary. In the meantime, enjoy a fantastic win, some wonderful goals, and Norwich City in a good place in the EFL Championship. Take care.